Hello, my name's Stuart and I'm the Managing Director at ERGOS. It's my pleasure to be joined today by Martin.
Hi, I'm the Security Operations Centre Manager at ERGOS.
Hi Martin, how's it going?
Yeah, not bad, not bad.
Busy industry, interesting job.
So what we do is we build out a cybersecurity stack, so a suite of products which we offer through the ERGOS Shield services, as you know, and the Security Operations Centre is responsible for managing and responding to incidents generated by those products. And alongside that, I will develop and work on keeping those products up to date and relevant for the clients.
Yeah, it's interesting and a vital part of what we do now, but relatively new. I think even if we were to go back 5 years, most MSPs didn't necessarily have a dedicated SOC.
No, and it's actually really good that we do, and we've been expanding it. It's part of our 24/7 team as well. We are the guys responsible for responding to incidents and cybersecurity events from the cybersecurity stack. It's separated from the normal live desk due to the kind of expertise that's needed and due to the nature of the incidents that come in.
Yeah, absolutely. So what type of incidents are you seeing? Are there any sort of like standout moments over the last 12 months?
Actually, yes. This year, I would say phishing has changed. Phishing has changed quite a lot this year. It used to be, you would get this email once in a while from like a Nigerian prince.
Yeah, absolutely.
Bad
grammar.
Yeah, bad grammar, just nonsense like please send us your password, or a fake login box, or click this link urgently.
I've come into 15 million, don't know what to do with it.
Yeah, that kind of nonsense. It feels like now, with the advent of AI, especially over this year, what's happening is, and a lot of companies are going to be exposed to this, because a lot of companies, ourselves included, we have our entire structure on, say, LinkedIn.
Yes.
It's not hard for a tool or a person to go through LinkedIn and scrape all of the company data in regards to positions, people of importance, roles,
absolutely.
Things coming up. It's everybody does it.
Well, that's not even a malicious activity anymore.
No.
People like Zoom Info and other providers do actually sell that data.
Yes, yeah, and it's easy to scrape. There's tools that will do it.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that these tools have now fed into AI models, and these AI models are very good at creating convincing spear phishing campaigns targeted towards, say, a person of importance, or maybe if you've hired a new member of accounts, they know the CFO's name and they know the member of accounts name, and they can target that campaign sort of like intelligently.
Yes,
yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, the software is very, very good now, and we've seen several examples in the past year alone of that happening, even to ourselves.
So from an expert's point of view then, you get one of these tickets where somebody's reporting that they've possibly got a fake email or a suspected phishing attack, and they want to check it right at the beginning before they click it. How would you tell?
Well, that comes down to training, user awareness training, which is something else we've seen a lot of extra interest in this year, or almost, 400% up this year alone. And I think that comes down to businesses knowing that something's up.
Yes.
They know that they've got to do something. They want a product to tick that box, and it's generating a lot of interest in user awareness training. So that's going to be your phishing campaigns, testing your users, providing training materials to your users, sometimes from a compliance perspective, so you can mark that off and say that we've done it, and sometimes because the company leaders want to be doing something active and they don't quite know what it is, but this is a very obvious place to start.
Yeah, and there are some really good pieces of software out there with some surprising benefits as well for your internal training, your policies and procedures. That's really come on leaps and bounds, actually.
Yeah, you're right. You can use it for HR training as well, can't you? Not just cybersecurity.
I'd really strongly recommend those type of products. So we've worked on the awareness side. but you get to see behind the curtain as well. So somebody's done the deed, they've clicked on the link. What could happen?
Well, obviously, if your account is compromised and you've not got measures in place, you could be looking at data loss, which is, from the examples, we've seen some quite big industry examples in the past year, which is probably what's brought that awareness forward in people's minds. But, I mean, take one example I saw personally last year for a client. The attacker was pretending to be the CFO, and the attacker was getting in contact, and they were not doing it through work devices.
Okay.
They were reaching out to the users through personal devices, through email addresses and mobile numbers that they had obviously gotten from somewhere like LinkedIn or another source.
Okay, so WhatsApp and those types.
Yes, exactly. WhatsApp. It was exactly, yeah.
So is that smishing?
Yes, yes, and it resulted in and there was AI involved to simulate the voice of the CFO.
Okay.
Yeah, and it sounded very convincing up until the point that they were passed off to a person asking them to provide some details, sensitive information, and that's when it clicked with the users. And these users are people that were put through these awareness training courses. Yeah, and it might have been what saved their bacon.
Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But it's difficult, isn't it? Because you're crossing traditional boundaries there. You're going outside of maybe somebody having a corporate Teams account or a corporate M365 tenancy, which, you know, the organisation may have put some, you know, invested some funds, done some hardening, but then you're going on to people's own devices. Their mobile phone, it might be, 5-6 years old. You've got no management on there.
No, and I think attackers are becoming aware of this. I mean, a lot of investment is done in sort of like your endpoint defense products, your email filtering. That's pushed as kind of a standard now. People they receive that and think, I'm protected. Yeah. I'm fine. I don't need to worry about, I don't need to plan for cybersecurity. And that's kind of what I want to hammer home, that awareness is being generated and people are starting to get clued in. Yeah. But we really need to start at a business level. People need to start planning for cybersecurity. I'm not talking about, massive investments and teams of people, but including somebody that understands cybersecurity to help you through that process, produce a plan, produce sort of like a way forward. I don't know how you would say it.
It's a journey,
a journey.
Roadmap.
Start a journey. Yeah, a roadmap, a journey. Sort of like investment in the right technologies rather than investing in technologies for the sake of it. If you follow what I'm saying.
I do, and I think there is appropriate situations for appropriate businesses. You can become incredibly complex. You can put an awful lot of money into this protection, and rightly so in some instances. But actually, some of this can be, well, we're all human. So it actually gets down to the human level, and I think that's what you're saying about the education piece there.
Well, I think what I'm getting at is the technologies like the awareness training and the endpoint defense that people tend to use as those tick boxes as for the business to say, right, we've got our EDR, our AV, antivirus, we've got our training, we're fine. Yeah. They're meant to be your last lines of defense, if you like it. Yes. If a vulnerability exists in your network, if a piece of malware has been downloaded, if a user's clicking an email, that technology and that training is there as the last line of defense. You shouldn't need to rely on your EDR log should look clean because you've managed your vulnerabilities. Your users are trained not to go to the right website, wrong websites. Your environment is secure in an ideal world. Yeah, you don't want logs. You don't want the EDR to be very active. So using it as your last line of defense, I mean, no product's perfect, and vulnerabilities, you have the 0-day ones without a patch, without awareness in the industry, people are going to get caught out. And my concern is we need to bring it down to the business level, if you follow what I'm saying.
I do, and it affects all of us, and we're not just talking about small businesses or large corporates, it's all business. And
yes.
ourselves included. As a managed service provider, I mean personally, I've been in IT for 20 plus years now and seen a lot of different evolutions through it. And really this SOC or Security Operations Centre, it's the last sort of 3 years that it's really come onto our radar. And I think as running a help desk in the way that we do, the events that happened around some of the large supermarkets, the social engineering side of it, we had to look at our processes and how we handled those type of daily driver accounts or password resets that are coming through. So maybe you could just talk to us a little bit about some of the steps that we implemented there.
Well, I mean, one of the things we did immediately when those events that you're discussing there happened was we went through all of our clients' 365 tenants and we introduced compulsory application approval requests. Reviewing, of course, we're reviewing the security posture and the security, I think the secure score settings for our clients as well.
It's really good, and I think just from my point of view of sort of overseeing some of those tickets, I think was a really good step forward that actually we were actively getting involved with what people were installing on their desktops. The prevention is a lot better than cure.
Yes.
And I think that was one of those value adds to me when I'm actually looking at what the SOC does and it generates and how that contributes towards our business. I thought that was a major step forward.
There are a lot of behind the scenes things we do. Yeah. Like, for example, vulnerability reviews. Like a lot of our clients don't know, but if a client is subscribed to our EDR project, which includes MDR, which is managed response from our SOC team, we do a monthly review of critical third-party application vulnerabilities. And we will make an attempt to fix them, obviously working with the customer if needed. Clients probably don't know that we do that we're looking after their desktops at that level.
That is really good, and that is one of the major advantages of working with ERGOS, because we do take things seriously and we do walk the walk when it comes to security. And I know that people don't necessarily know the difference, so maybe you could explain what EDR is, and then we'll talk about what we do as MDR.
Okay, so to understand EDR, you've got to understand antivirus. Everybody who's probably been around a while is aware of antivirus. You have your signature-based product on your computer that looks at what's called the hash value of files. So a file will be hashed, put through a mathematical algorithm to produce an output, which is a long number. And you have a collection of signatures, and if those signatures match a signature on a database that's a list of malware, then it's a virus.
Yes.
Yeah, that's like your traditional virus, and that was good for a while. It's not good enough anymore.
No.
So that's led into a new product line like Endpoint Detection Response, EDR, which looks at heuristics on top of that. So it's going to look at analyst of behavior of products. It's going to look at how an executable is acting, how it's acting in connection to sort of like other processes occurring on the computer. I think the way it puts it is, if it looks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, it's a duck, isn't it? It's if it looks like a virus, it's a virus.
Yes.
So it gets in there and it adds that intelligence, that threat intelligence into the equation as well. It allows you to be more proactive with threats in your environment. And the MDR...
Well, just before we move on to MDR, there's a couple of the other benefits, as I understand it. The isolation piece, so where it will just separate you from the network.
Yes, so not every client will be configured this way, but you do have the option to have automatic isolation of endpoints. So if a detection is detected and it's like suspicious or confirmed malicious, you can configure the EDR to automatically isolate the endpoint, so it can only talk to the EDR port, basically. Yeah,
and I think that's really impressive as someone that's been on the other side of seeing how that operates. And the other thing that I saw when I've had the overview of looking through tickets, so I'm not necessarily doing the work anymore. But the other interesting piece I thought was when you actually saw that you can restore it back to a previous version of the operating system. Or
well, yes, you can do. The way it works is it uses volume shadow copy snapshots to keep an eye on sort of like versions of files. So in the instance when you get, everyone's aware of like ransomware, where malware will get on your computer and encrypt your files, and it will hold the files to ransom. You get a big message on your screen saying you pay us one one V-buck or whatever it is.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. Fortnite.
Yeah. And you get your files back. So the way the EDR protects against that is it keeps shadow copies, and if it detects a change to a file that's linked to a malicious event, it does what's called a rollback of all the files the event touched.
Yeah.
So if it encrypts 20 files, it rolls back 20 files back to the last shadow copy, be it an hour ago, whatever it was.
That's really good. And, that's a really good explanation of why people should be, well, if they haven't already, have moved from AV to EDR. And I think a lot of businesses and a lot of MSPs out there are already advising clients to do that. But we take it a stage further. We actually provide MDR to our clients with our SOC.
Yes, so I mean, MDR is literally the response side of it. So it's all well and good having.
So what's the acronym?
Managed detection response.
Yeah.
So it's all well and good having a product that's going to highlight when something sus is occurring in your network, or whether you've got sort of like shifty files being downloaded, or users are opening command prompts in an odd way. It's all well and good having that, but without a pair of eyes on it to look at what's happened, look at the response side of it, look at the threat intelligence side of it, and use tools like XDR, Extended Detection Response, to analyze the logs and basically review what's happened. That's what MDR is. MDR is us getting involved and not just setting up the product and leaving it to do its best.
Yeah.
MDR is us responding to every single event it logs. And there are hundreds.
Yes.
There are hundreds, 50 plus, I think it's 50 this year were confirmed positive, at least. I think about 50 or so this year confirmed positive items that had further actions off the back of it. A lot, but also we are looking at the false positives as well to help tune the system to make it not as noisy. So when a real event does happen, we're on it.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think that's, from my point of view, the real value add of SOC. And the other sort of interesting evolution for a person of my age is that we were always told that we had to reset our passwords, 30 days, 60 days, no more than 90 days. But that's changed now, and it's more about the complementary services that go around access control.
Yeah, you're talking about the MFA and
yes.
The keys and all that. Yeah. So, I mean,
I was just surprised that Microsoft's advice actually changed.
That's been that a while, actually. I can't remember exactly what it is. It's happened at least in the past year or so. I know Cyber Essentials in the latest review of the framework have now said it's okay, because Cyber Essentials, the framework that we suggest for a lot of our clients, is that used to say you had to change your password.
Yes, I remember.
And now it's the opposite. Now it's like, yes, you can have passwords that don't change. And I think it's on the thinking that if you have to change your password, all you're going to do is just add 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 to the end of it. It's a bit of a pointless process, really. And you should be looking at securing things with sort of like access policies and multi-factor authentication.
It's this layered approach, isn't it?
Layered.
So the onion idea, and as you said, that's the multi-factor authentication, having something like a web proxy on the machine.
Yes. I mean,
BitLocker.
This is kind of what I want to kind of drive home to our clients.
It's a stack. It's a security stack.
A security stack is something they need to consider along with a security plan.
Yeah.
And it would involve a review of their current security standing.
Yeah.
The
posture.
Security posture, their current security posture, see how things are, I mean, a lot of clients may be happy with the out-of-box configuration for their infrastructure, and they've had that supported for X amount of years, but you know, without the review of that, without the discussion.
So it's a gap analysis.
It's exactly, yeah, a gap analysis to say, I mean, you say gap analysis, it could be a gap analysis towards something like Cyber Essentials, which is a very good thing to push people towards. Not everyone's ready for Cyber Essentials, but it's a very good thing to aim for. One, it's not us telling a client, this is the product you should buy, and this
it's
is
not
how you
sales.
should. It's not
more,
sales. It's I like it because it is
structure.
exactly that. It's a framework where you can say, somebody else is marking this for us. We're all agreeing to a framework, and we're going to help you get there. And so we're not going to cheat you or we're not going to lead you down the wrong path or sell you something you don't need. We're going to give you exactly what you need to achieve this framework, and we're going to help you get there. And somebody else is going to tell you that we've done our job properly, which is why I like the idea of frameworks. Not that we can't have discussions outside of frameworks, of course. I just like I like the structure of them in that respect.
And I think it's building people in. As we said at the beginning here, it's a journey on a roadmap. Then anything's better than nothing. And so the basics of starting with multi-factor authentication and encryption, they're essential these days. But as we start to progress into that hardening journey, and then you touched on conditional access, but then SIEM is a lot more cost effective these days, maybe?
Yes, actually, that's coming this year. So SIEM.
So SIEM, what's the acronym?
System Information Event Monitoring. So that's bringing together all your logs from your infrastructure, be it everything down to your network switches, your firewalls, your EDR platform, your Azure 365, your Active Directory, bringing all these logs together. And that allows you to provide supplementary analysis, response and threat intelligence, tying them all together kind of as a one single pane of glass.
I liken it to a burglar alarm, and all of these are sensors that could be tripped.
Yes, yeah, and you've got a nice log of it all as well.
Yes.
Yeah, it's very good for compliance. Historically, this is something that the big boys play with.
It was expensive, and it's something that's come out of the enterprise arena and is now steadily becoming affordable to a lot of companies.
Yes, yeah. Obviously, if you wanted the full shebang, you've got to have the sort of like the appetite for it.
Yes.
But there is, I think, what do we call it, like SIEM Lite products that will plug into your 365 and your base level network, and it provides that level of monitoring, that level of threat intelligence that's not there with just EDR and just a bit of a security review. You're starting to get a bit serious now. You care. You obviously not got the deep pockets, but you care and you want to get there eventually.
And it's enabling services like ours to have the tools that they need, so that we can actually highlight when things are actually happening and start doing more detailed reports and reviews.
Oh, 100%. And it provides that peace of mind for compliance, should you ever want to go that route as well. Yeah. That you've got the login, that you've got the ability to, look back and query it in a structured way. Yes. Because SIEM, a lot of people misunderstand it as a defense product. It's not that. It's an awareness kind of your network product. Yeah. It's like threat intelligence. It's not threat response. Threat response is still your EDR. Your SIEM is letting you know what's going on in your network. It's giving you information that you don't otherwise have.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think one of the really interesting developments, as I've been talking to various different providers and technology leaders that we partner with, is actually how the rise of AI now, and people bringing their own AI to work. And it's the products like SIEM, like the enterprise apps, that will actually make sure that your data doesn't end up, in the public realm, isn't it?
Yeah, that comes back to as well the enterprise app approval thing that we put in. Since putting that in, and with the AI coming in the way it has in the past year, we've seen a lot of end users try and integrate AI products with the 365 tenants, where otherwise that would have just gone through and you could have had data going left, right and centre. But we've been now in the position to say to our IT contacts, look, your users are doing this. Are you happy for this data to leave your environment? Are you happy for these permissions to be given to these apps?
Absolutely. Yeah, and I think that's where it becomes essential for a business, especially if they're trying to make the most out of the efficiencies that AI can produce. But there's a big risk there of data leak.
Yeah, I mean, AI compliance and frameworks that's still a little early days.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And maybe then the other piece is the armory. Well, there's a few, but the other big one that we've seen good adoption for is the dark web monitoring.
Yes, well, that's a very. It's not an expensive product either.
No,
it's one of those no-brainer products that you never want to hear from.
Yes,
It's not expensive. All it does is it looks out on the dark web. It looks at forums, websites. Chat rooms, that kind of stuff. It sits there, it builds up databases of credential leaks.
Yeah. So you could spend all this money protecting your own network, and then if somebody's on LinkedIn or MyFitnessPal or one of these big sort of like breaches was out there, if they've reused
their password, if they've reused their password for their work device. And a lot of the times as well, what we've seen is even when clients come in and they've added products to their arsenal, they've expanded their cybersecurity stack, there's been leaks from before they did that, even if it's like a year ago, and it's still good to know, so you can check, you can go to that user, you're still using that password or some variant of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it was leaked a couple of years ago, and it allows the business to make the informed decision of what to do with that information as well.
And actively as well, so if there is a breach out there and it gets found by our software, that gets reported to the service desk. We'll then contact the user, get that password reset as soon as possible.
Exactly, yeah. So the SOC team would be on that, and they will reset the account, speak to the user, make sure it's legit or not, have the ability to sort of like look at the previous logs and go through the logs and see if there's any unusual login activity. Yeah.
And with all of the new sort of like products that are coming out, as you mentioned, how do you stay on track if you're getting a request from a user to install this new AI application, perhaps, or maybe it's just a note taker of some kind? That request to come to SOC, what sort of steps would you take to either approve or deny that application?
Right. Okay. So this is where it comes back to the business having a plan for these things. And I know I've mentioned frameworks. It doesn't have to be a framework, but normally the default response is we have to speak to the business contact, be it that the IT manager, the MD, whomever it is who is our client contact, and we have to put all the information to them as simply as possible and let them make the call. But by bringing the security posture and having these discussions about the cybersecurity impact on our customers' businesses with them, we can formulate process, we can create a plan and help them know how to respond to these things. So they might discuss this with us and they'll say, okay, we only want to use like ChatGPT or something like that as our AI product, so we can help lock that down and help them respond. And we would know when someone tries to add Gemini into Gemini, that's not allowed.
No.
Yeah, and we will have a playbook for them. At the moment, it's sort of like for a lot of clients, it's got to be the best efforts where they don't have these plans in place, and we've got to push that decision back to them. We can't make it for them. Yeah,
that's it. So it's to advise and to always make sure that you're working on policy of least privilege, so that none of these accounts are overly subscribed with permissions. But then, as you said, after that, with the best will in the world, something's always going to happen. So is there anything that companies should be looking at, maybe some exercises around BCDR or
yes,
business
so now
continuity?
you're getting into business continuity now. This all comes back again to the, planning and your posture again. So like a lot of companies do take BCP or at least DR seriously now. They like to have, again, a product in place. So like they say, we have a backup product, and they buy the backup product and they back things up, but they never test it.
No.
And, you know, for all the best sort of like intentions in the world, we can't force them to test it. We can't make people test things, but we need to have these discussions, and
It's an interesting perspective, isn't it? It's when you get invited to these meetings, because you're looking after hundreds of networks. There's a consultancy element now, isn't there, where we can come in and we can actually advise companies, because although, you know, one size definitely doesn't fit all, we will have a decent idea of best practice. We will be able to at least frame these discussions when we're talking to boards and clients.
I'll tell you what is driving it, and that's the client's customers.
Yeah.
More than a dozen occasions I can think of, clients have come in and they've said things like, well, we want to be Cyber Essentials Plus, or what does DORA mean for us, or, you know, is ISO achievable?
Yeah.
These kind of questions are coming in because clients' customers are saying, well, what's your framework? What's your standpoint? What's your posture on security? And they're asking all sorts of difficult questions that they can't answer, and that's why we need to have these discussions, and we need to sort of like at least build sort of like a framework around sort of like what their customers' needs are.
Is insurance the other driver?
Yes,
Do we get a lot of forms?
That's 100% a driver. That's 100% a driver, and I would say Cyber Essentials does include insurance. That's an easy way around that. If you just want to tick the insurance box and be secure, Cyber Essentials includes a level of insurance with it. But yes, insurance providers have posed these difficult questions and have caught some clients out.
Yeah.
In things like MFA, for example. You say MFA, that a client's maybe had MFA, they set it up on their 365, and the products we've given them have had MFA, but they've not thought about MFA on all of their cloud systems. Say if they have like Sage Cloud or
something legacy bespoke.
Something
perhaps.
legacy, something bespoke. Yeah, it's sort of like the insurer's going to say, well, you know, your accounting software doesn't have MFA. Your 365 does, and you've made the effort there, of course, but you know you've missed out A, B, and C, and that's going to affect your premium.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think there's some real good value in engaging with an MSP or engaging with ERGOS, because there's this old adage of working within an MSP, you gain 5 years worth of experience compared to 1 year of internal IT, just because you're exposed to a lot of different networks, a lot of different environments. Whereas if somebody's working on maybe a larger enterprise network, they have a very in-depth knowledge of that network. And maybe some of these things that are around and very, very fast moving, we can actually consult, and there's that co-managed piece, I think, that is more prevalent perhaps than there has been in previous years, where we can be invited in to talk to IT directors or maybe a third line person that's internal.
Yeah, we do have customers like that, where they've got an established on-site IT team that know what they're doing better than we could with their environment.
Absolutely, yeah.
But we're there as that fresh pair of eyes, and to help them. We've got the experience with these compliance frameworks. We've got these experience with these security products, and we can come in and we can say, sort of like, in financial services, for example, you need A, B, and C. The DORA affects this, and we can help you achieve. We won't write their policies for them, but we can advise them.
We can advise, help shape conversations.
Yeah, help them implement the products and services, professional services with projects and stuff like that as well. That's definitely in our playbook.
I think it's actually us actually walking the walk that actually really helps with that. And there's two sides, isn't there? There's the Cyber Essentials and the technical frameworks that we've discussed. But also then there's how that integrates with the people and with the actual policies that you need around, well, ISO for us. And essentially it can get incredibly complicated. And sometimes you need an outside perspective to help.
Yeah, people that are used to speaking to the auditors.
Yes.
That's one way of putting it. I mean, we had a client over Christmas that needed to get their DORA things over the line before the end of the year. And we were involved quite heavily with that to help them achieve just that. And it involved speaking to auditors. It involved sort of like getting their BCP plan and technologies tested. It involved sort of like pen testing and sort of like plans alongside that. It's, you know, it's good to have that experience available to you.
And just to give us an idea of some sort of like pace that your department are working with, are you sort of saying that you're coming across these security incidents on a weekly basis or daily basis?
Yes, they're not always true positives, but yes, I mean, I've seen at least 2 today. before this chat, I've seen at least 2 today, and you see patterns as well start to come in, but as well it's knowing how to identify those patterns and knowing what is the false positive and what is the sort of like true positive, which is it's quite good that we're partnered, for example, with SentinelOne, because we've got access to SentinelOne University, which is allowing me to put our SOC team through the SentinelOne University courses.
Yeah.
That's something we're doing on the side. Allows them to do proper incident response and threat analysis at sort of like a very competent level.
Yeah, that is really good. And just while I've got you, I realise I'm picking your brains now.
No, that's fine.
Is there this point where it becomes so automated that, you know, I'm talking about malware as a service, really. Is it a privilege to be hacked by a human these days?
It still does happen. It still does happen more than you might think. It's more, I would say the automation is at the beginning end. Yeah. So if you think you're, you know, big man malware company limited, because they do operate like companies.
Yes.
They're with KPIs and teams and desks and you know, if you get your ransomware and you call up a desk, you want a quick response from that desk so they can pay their ransomware.
Yeah.
They do operate like companies.
Sort of thing that I was going to touch on then was really, then everybody's heard about pen testing and external penetration testing, and we don't recommend that, you know, people mark their own homework, and there are some things that, you know, we do work with our partners for. But then there's cybersecurity vulnerability testing that you can do within your internal network, isn't there?
I'm glad you brought that up, actually, because a lot of our clients don't realise that we can do pen tests for them.
Yeah, okay.
Often for, and you might hate me saying this,
but
for half the price of the big boys. And it is just as good as an external test, because we aren't marking the results. We are just constructing and performing the test. Somebody else is doing the analysis for us, for our partners. Yeah. So we can offer pen test services, and there is a potential there to save some of our clients some money if they need a pen test. And I guess where I was really, because there's lots of different levels, isn't there? There's the external looking in, and, you know, against your public IPs, against your websites, any portals, your firewalls, etc. But there's also a next generation to that, which is a combination of the two, where we can actually simulate what happens if somebody did click that link. Yes, so you're like Endpoint, I can't remember the acronym. This came up actually very recently in the discussion about DORA requirements for pen tests. It's like risk-led testing or something like that. Yeah, so as I understand it to be, we'll simulate a phishing link which is bespoke to that company. Did it get through? Did the antivirus work? Did they click on the link? Did it get through? Did the anti-spam work? Did it once they clicked on it, did it run? Did the antivirus work? And even if we wanted to take it that step further, we could actually, you know, say that did happen, and then we can actually track and see, was there lateral movement?
could we, see any PII or personal identifiable information in there? Did we capture any live passwords? Were there any daily drivers, any admin accounts, and those type of work?
You're pretty much describing the test.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you'll be surprised how often PII does come up. That's another great example. That's an interesting. You should bring. Sorry, a bit of a segue. It's interesting talking about things clients don't realise we can do for them regarding PII. Our EDR product, we have the ability to do things like block USB access,
absolutely,
and stuff like that.
And transfer of those type of information, so you can't copy and paste it out.
Yeah, exactly. So it's but going back to the pen test, you're pretty much describing the desktop level of the pen test.
Yeah.
And then you have, as you said, the external in where we can we can do port scans on the IPs and stuff like that. We can even do firewall analytics, and even now we can do a 365 test as well as part of this suite of products and services that we can offer.
Is there anything that you'd like to talk about, that I haven't got to?
I think for me, and something we are trying to do a lot off our own back this year is we're trying to engage with clients. So we're trying to do these security posture analysis and reporting for them, and we're trying to open up these conversations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's the next level of service, isn't it?
Yes.
It's actually these aren't enterprise problems anymore. They're business problems.
I think there is legislation coming in that is going to affect, much like Europe did with DORA and stuff like that, that is going to force businesses to think about this if the insurance companies don't get on them first.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. It's good. And at least you don't want your company data stolen, do you?
No.
Yeah, no, it's not just about ticking a box and saving some money. It's you want to be a business that is trustworthy, and thinking about these things it's important. And
it is, and I think as you sort of like touched upon it, it's making sure that actually somebody can't just come along with their own device or their own AI these days, and then just take a load of data out of SharePoint and disappear.
Yeah. So you're talking about data loss prevention. And,
I am, and that's part of the hardening process, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
And I think Microsoft, Google, I think they're all guilty of making entry level to these products so easy, because they want to sell more. And I think a lot of people don't necessarily realise that yes, you can get it working straight out of the box, but it is like moving into a house and not locking the door.
It's as well kind of all these companies like Google and Microsoft, they've made single sign-on and integration so easy.
Yeah, yes.
That you have to know, you've got to lock these things down as a business, and you've got to know about, as you said, hardening the environment and how important that is. And that's where the expertise comes in, and the plans and the proposals to sort that out.
Because a lot of business today is around your IP. It's around your intelligence. It's around your procedures. It's around the data that you have actually done something with or you hold for somebody. And if you don't protect it, you're not going to be in business all that long.
No. No. Or you're going to have a bad time or lose some money for sure.
Yeah, exactly. So, Martin, it's been fascinating. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Cheers.
Cheers.